You are watching The Horizon, the voice of the Amber Woman, exclusively on ABC Amba TV.
Mutumbu, mama yo, na ya boy go get her. Blue Jay Brothers. Mama you kind, mama you're beautiful, mama you good, mama you're wonderful. No woman like you, mama. No woman like you, mama. Thank God for you, mama. Thank God for you, mama. 'Cause you gave me life, oh mama. Queen of my life, oh mama. I go love you for life, oh mama. 'Cause you love me so, oh mama. From small begin, I never forget all the suffer when you suffer for me. Oh yeah, yeah. All the pain and the troubles where I put you through. I remember when money no be there and chop no be there for her. You be the try your best. You go run around to find us something where we go chop. When I dey sick, you know the sleep. You go the cry all night. You go hold me tight, start to pray, say God make you help my oh Lord. Ooh, I will yeah choma. I'm funga na better yeah funga choma. I'm bombing na better yeah bomb choma. Enga na chinum yeah ga choma. Mama, I will yeah choma. I'm funga na better yeah funga choma. I'm bombing na better yeah bomb choma. Enga na chinum yeah ga choma. Enga choma mama. Enga na chinum yeah ga choma. Chinum yeah ga choma. Oh, you gave me life, oh mama. Queen of my life, oh mama. I will love you for life, oh mama. 'Cause you love me so, oh mama. Ale mama, ale mama, selelelele, ale mama, shekelelelele, ale mama. You're my motivation. You gave me the best education, mama. The song where I sing I'm for you, now it's special dedication to you. Oh yeah, I know say every night and day you pray say make a mama. The God where you the pray I'm for heaven done. Give me this inspiration, mama. The song where I sing I'm for you, now to show my appreciation to you. Be a warrior, chama. I funga na better, yeah, funga chama. I'm bombing na better, yeah, bomb chama. Engana, chinum, yaga chama. Mama, warrior, chama. I funga na better, yeah, funga chama. I'm bombing na better, yeah, bomb chama. Engana, chinum, yaga chama. Yaga chama. Chinum, yaga chama. Yaga chama. You gave me life, mama, queen of my life, mama. I will love you for life. I will love you for life, 'cause you love me so, mama. You gave me life, mama, queen of my life, mama. I will love you for life, mama. 'Cause you love me so, oh mama, mama, selelelele, ale mama, selelelele, ale mama, selelelele, ale mama, shekelelele, ale mama, selelelele, ale mama, selelelele, ale mama, selelelele, ale mama, selelelele, ale mama. Oh, that's so. That's so. Mother's Day. That's so.
Hello. Good evening, people at the home front. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world watching us. We are live on the horizon in ABC Amba TV. And I want to greet all our restoration fighters at the home front. I want to greet all our patriotic Amazonians at home front and in the rest of the diaspora. Thank you for joining us once again on the horizon. And today I have another two great, powerful women. And yes, today we have the director of ABC Amba TV coming to tell us about ABC Amba TV. ABC Amba TV has been since 2019. When the interim government changed leadership after a short while, the original TV is opened and sponsored by Amazonians was hijacked, and ABC was created to continuously keep our messaging consistent with our freedom quest objectives. So ABC have come this far, and ABC is going all the way until our restoration, and every Amazonian is required to participate in this great success and effort of ABC to keep our messaging consistent, to tell our story from our perspective. And I would like to welcome Ma Endeli, our director of ABC Amber TV, and Dr. Patience Abiodo, the leader of Women Services. You are both welcome. Ma Endeli, you are welcome to the
Thank
Horizon,
you.
the voice of the
Thank you
Amazonian
very
woman.
much, Lady Casey. Thank you.
Thank you, Lady
And Ma
Casey. Pleasure
Patience,
to be here.
once again, yeah, keeping it going with so much grace and keeping the Horizon and the Women Services Department one of the most effective in this our revolution. You are welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm really happy to be invited today to the Horizon. Our women's program is very, very important. It's a key factor in this struggle, in this revolution. And every time I am invited to come in and talk with the women and the rest of Ambazonians, I am very happy to do that. Um, I don't know if I should go ahead and just
Yes,
start.
yes, you
Okay.
should crack on because we
First
are on
of all,
ABC.
yes,
Yeah, just to highlight, we're on
yes.
ABC, and ABC is our major point of discussion because the Horizon is, one of the most consistent program on ABC since the program was started. It has been running since
Yes.
then, and this is just to show that when women are in management and handling things, expect results and expect a level of consistency you've never seen. So, yes, we are on ABC and on one of the most consistent program. You can carry on, director of ABC. Thank you.
Oh, okay. I think thank you, Lady Casey, again, and thank you, Mape Abiedu. Credit should be given to who credit is due. Mape, you've been very, 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 very hard. You've been working very hard with the women's department. I will say congratulations to you. And I want to use this opportunity, first of all, to thank all Amazonians who showed up for ABC last weekend on ABC Day. It was the first of its kind, and we were particularly celebrating 1 year of Undaunted News. So it's been a ride, as most of you know. Um, so I want to thank all those who showed up. You guys did a fantastic job. We are yet to tally the total figures, but we did make it was a successful show. It was a fantastic program. Unfortunately, some people could not be there, could not participate, but we are going to take a look at how it went. We are going to assess ourselves. We are going to look at the ups and downs, the successes and the failures, and we'll move on. But we will come up with a total figure after our meeting on Sunday. So I want to thank all those who came up, who showed us, who contributed. As I've said, and as I will always say, ABC TV is the people's TV. It belongs to you. It is how you support us that we shine. Without you, we cannot do it. So I want to thank all those who contributed, and I want to promise you that we are going to follow your contributions up with 501c. letters, so that those who are, especially those who are in the United States, can use it as a tax break. So we are working on that, and these letters should be out before the end of the year, before the next tax season. So that is one of the things that we are going to work on. So apart from this, welcome, thank you, Lady Casey. Back to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Um, my Emily, you know you have so much more to tell us about ABC. You just mentioned that the first year or the first year anniversary of Undaunted News was celebrated. That's one of the great things that have been on ABC and have been well managed despite the challenges. We'll be coming back. I'll be coming back to you to tell us much more about ABC, the activities going forward. But more patience, I would just like to pick up your mind. You have, been running the horizon for on ABC for as from since it started, and you've been part and parcel of the horizon. And you've also appeared on many other programs on ABC Amba TV. I just want to come to you. Can you, from your own perspective and experience, almost like working for ABC, working in ABC, running a program at ABC Amber TV? What's your own perspective? What can you tell Ambazonians about ABC Amber TV and what it means to you and what it should stand for Ambazonia, what it should mean to all Ambazonians?
Thank you, ladies. Casey. Let me first start by greeting everyone watching us all over the home front from ground one and diaspora. It's a pleasure to be here on the horizon, the voice of the Amber Woman. We are staying the course. ABC, I consider it a weapon against La Republic. It's so important that I really, really feel committed to ABC. You mentioned that it's been running for a long time. I think it's really since 2018. I think we got corrected as 2018, late 2018, after it was hijacked, after SCBC hijacked the platform that the Ambazonia people really wanted, and so ABC was created. And we have put so much money in ABC because we believe in what ABC Amber TV is all about. Information is so important in our quest for recognition, for international recognition. And I think that the reason we have this voice, the horizon, the voice of the Amber Woman, because we want to bring women voices, women issues to the front line. We also want to bring political perspectives, political views, so that people understand what is going on. If people don't understand, then they don't buy into why they are really fighting for their freedom. Information is so important. Sometimes when you hear the wrong information over and over and over again, you believe the wrong information. ABC is a channel to give the right information, to give the true message so that people know where we are coming from. We say it's a God ordained revolution, God ordained struggle. And whenever you deal with the Lord God, you have to be truthful. You have to tell the people the truth. So, Lady Casey, that's why I'm so committed to ABC. I will always support ABC financially because I believe in the power of communication as a weapon against La Republic. It is our connection to the home front, it's our connection to international communities, and in our connection to the enemy. We must keep it alive. We must make it thrive at all cost. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maficians, and that I sure many Amazonians would totally agree with you. I will go back to our director of ABC Amber TV, who have been doing an excellent job. I missed it to say this. Ma Enley has just been doing such a wonderful job sustaining ABC, managing everybody that work for ABC and keeping things afloat. and keeping ABC consistent. And Undaunted News is one of the great evidence of that. Thank you so much. We Amazonians, true patriotic Amazonians, really appreciate the work you are doing. I will just go straight to specifics now about ABC Amba TV, mainly. Um, can you just give us some kind of a brief rundown of the history or the journey of ABC till this day? And round up that point with telling us currently who are those handling operations um, at ABC Amber TV. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Lady Casey, once again. Before I go to the history, and which will be only since I joined ABC, I would like to just add something to what Mape was saying. You know, the role of women in this struggle is very, very vital. You know that, as they say, the men go to war, they fight each other, and the women have to come back and clean the mess and do everything. So the role of the Horizon as a program on ABC is very, very important, because even with the peace process, you cannot do it without women. You know, women are usually level-headed, they are grounded. They are able to see the life in a different perspective than men. So you know the role of, we cannot only discuss women's issues on program on this program like Horizon. I like the way Mape is handling it, because she brings in serious political issues which are discussed even from the women's perspective, which at the end of the day is going to be very, very important in the final decisions that will take us to Boya. So the role of the women in this struggle cannot be undermined at all. Yeah, so that is what I wanted to add to what Mape was saying. Now back to history of ABC. Yes, I am aware that ABC was on before I joined it. In 2021, the president just approached me to see if I would take up the directorship of ABC. He was restructuring at this time and trying to put the institutions of Ambazonia together, and to get us working as a functional country, even though we are in the diaspora. So when he asked me, I was a little bit taken aback, because I didn't even know that he knew I was part of this struggle, because I had just joined this struggle in 2019. And why I joined was one of my cousins was just showing me the killings that were going on. I had not heard anything about Ambazonia. I had not been following the rioting and the events that took place since 2016, 2017, 2018. The last time I was in Cameroon was, I think, 2018. And my cousin, who is a lawyer, mentioned to me that the lawyers are on strike. But it didn't make any sense. He didn't explain to me what was really happening. I did not have a clue. So when I saw the humanitarian crisis, that was my main reason for joining the struggle. So when the president asked me to join in 2021, I said, okay, I am a retired journalist, and I am now a nurse, but I could offer my services to help with ABC TV. And at that time, Chris Anu was the communications secretary, and it was still a struggle trying to set everything together, because the president had to come in several times to remind the whole department that there are three arms to the department. There's the communications department, which is right now, it is headed by the Secretary of Communications, Dr. Martin Mungwa. Then there is the board of directors, which as far as I know is still being handled by Amos Stumenta. And he was the board. That is one arm. And then the third arm is ABC Television, which is a directorate and like a cooperative, a corporation, and directly under the presidency. So those are the three units that make up actually the communications department. But the ABC Television as a directorate is run independently. It is supposed to be run independently. The board is supposed to be an oversight. They come in and we get approval. For example, when we were coming up with the budget for ABC, we had to get approval from the board, and the board approved a budget to run ABC, pay for the internet and stipends, because we are all volunteers. Every one of us, everybody working in ABC is volunteer, is a volunteer. We come up with little stipends to help them with their transportation, with their daily running, but we cannot pay them because we don't have the money. ABC is being sustained by the donations of you people, of Amazonians. And until we have a country, until we are able to make money through adverts, because right now we face a lot of resistance when we try to get companies or organizations to come and advertise on ABC television. We are struggling very hard, in keeping our truth, in telling the truth, and in keeping the rules and regulations of television, because we are operating in the diaspora and our base right now is in the US. So we have to follow the ethic rules of the US, the United States of America. So our struggle right now is how to get this station running. We have to pay our internet dues, and as I said, all the staff we have are all volunteers, because they are they are all over the world. We have contributions from them from all over the world, and we can only sustain them with small stipends for every now and then. We cannot sustain, we cannot say we are paying anybody a salary. We cannot afford it, because salaries, we don't have a country, we don't have a source of income apart from the goodwill and free will donations of Amazonians. So that is the structure that we are working with right now. Now, when I started in 2021, I was working pretty good with Chris Anu, the communications secretary. But towards October, that was when I started seeing some signs of the coup that followed. I'm not going to go into details, but that is a story for another time. A lot has been said on air, and I think Amazonians know the whole story at this point. Yes, we had a lot of struggle trying to retrieve our equipments, because everything was signed under the former communication secretary, and we now, with this present ABC, with ABC of now, everything is registered under ABC. So it will never happen again that one person will carry our equipment or run away with our latest consoles, or block our funds coming into ABC, diverting funds, through internet, and all that is being worked on. All that has been in the restructuring of ABC. It has not been easy, and it is work in progress. As I will always say, it is work in progress. So for now, Lady Casey, there are three arms of the communications department: the board, which is right. I think at this point we are going through some restructuring, because we are not getting the kind of cooperation and performance that we require. But it is up to the president to make these changes. So we are working with the president at this point. The communication secretary, as you know, Dr. Mungwa is doing a fantastic job as the face of the IG, as the face of the Ambazonian government. So, and ABC is the voice of the people. We have we are in the world, so we are part of the world. We are not only representing Ambazonia. We are taking Ambazonia's story out to the world. So we have to be very, very sensitive and also cautious and conscious of the rules and regulations that guard the television industry, especially in the United States where we are. Thank you, Lady Casey.
Wow, thank you. Thank you very much for that detailed explanation on, you know, um, things, events, and the current dates. And you touch on somehow operations on ABC Amber TV. But I just want to, for you to expatiate a bit more likely, a bit more on, running of ABC Amber TV. Who are the key players? Who are those who oversee different aspects of operations or day-to-day operation of the ABC Aba TV? Because it's the people's TV. The people need to know who are those dealing or managing ABC, or making things happen at the back, so that the people who are contributing or motivate people to contribute, that will bring some more transparency. So who are these people who are overseeing and ensuring the smooth operation of ABC Amber TV?
Okay, thank you very much. Yes. When the coup happened, there was Chris Anu, who was the communications secretary and the anchorman. Actually, he was doing everything. I don't remember any programs even on ABC at that time. But there were two staff. He had hired two staff. We had a studio. Our studio was close to him in Houston, Texas, and he had two staff. One, an engineering staff who was in charge of the technical parts of the studio inside the studio, and then we had one news lady who was carrying the news. Um, they were both employed by the communication secretary, and everything was done verbally. There were no documents signed. We just knew that we had two staff who were working, and they were directly under the control of the communications secretary. Now, when the coup actually took off was when there was a blackout. As the communication secretary cut us off from the news lady and also the technical studio director. So he told us that we will not go on air, and he did complete that, because we were off air, say from, I think, from November up till March the following year, 2022. That is why we are celebrating Undaunted, because after the coup and after we know that he had disengaged and we had retrieved some of our equipments as much as we could, we now had to start setting up a new studio. And when the communication secretary was operating the studio, his budget was $10,000. Now we now had to sit and see how we could start a new studio, completely new studio. And now I have a director of news who is Paddy, Tal King, and then a director of programs who is Chief Oben, and um, I had some staff before the coup, before the coup, because I had a manager of finance who uh, who um, who is Claude, and he was handling our finances and trying to retrieve all the monies that were out there that were not under Ambazonia, but they were just hanging out there under the control of the communications secretary. So I had the director of news, the director of programs, the manager of finance, and I also had a secretary, the secretary general, who was also the ABC board secretary. He was doubling up as the ABC board secretary and the Ambazonia secretary general. And also we had other we had Maruth Asienega, who was helping with the marketing section of ABC. Now, these were the institutions I had put in place, but some of them did not take off because of problems in setting up. As I said, ABC is a work in progress. Now, we were supposed to have an editorial board. We started in setting it up, but it was taken down with the coup, and we lost a lot of the members at that time. The chairman of the board, Amos, was supposed to be the contact with the local government areas, both in ensuring that they help finance ABC, and also they participate in the productions, in programs. That
Okay,
also did
Almighty.
not take off. Yes,
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you there. I hope you can hear me. So it looks like
yes,
in
I can hear you.
ABC, yeah, so the way you have stated it, ABC has a really complex cooperative structure to see the day-to-day running of affairs of ABC. Like you mentioned few times that ABC is a work in progress. And
Yes,
yes, ABC has always been a work in progress, and they have made so much giant strides. Before we talk about finances and how much it costs to I would just like us to move on with with the conversation. So before we go into the finances of ABC Amba TV, how say what is their yearly budget, for example, and then we'll talk about how much was raised in the last fund drive. I would just like you to for us to elaborate more on you also mentioned reason why Undaunted was celebrated because you felt like after such a hurdle, such a challenge that came within Ambazonia and the former um, communication secretary and the disaster of the coup upon our struggle and effect on ABC Amber TV, how you pulled through those really challenging time and certainly Undaunted was more than worth celebrating. Um, I just want you to talk more on that celebration of
yes.
Undaunted. Why?
Yes, yes, Lady Casey, I was trying to give you the background of where we are coming from. Now I'm going I was going to let you see what we have on ground now in setting up
Okay.
the Undaunted. Now,
Yep.
with Paddy as my news director, we now decided that what will make ABC rise will be to set up the news, the news department, because that is what carries the station. Now, getting the staff was another problem also, because we now saw that we needed some really good anchor ladies to be able to draw in the audience, because without an audience you will just be making noise. So we now had to look at getting anchor ladies from from all over the world. We are in the diaspora, and we are producing virtually. So this is where
Yeah.
the technical experience of Paddy came in. And to tell you the truth, I know there are people who have worked with, there are people who support him, like Amos and Chief Oben. They have worked together to set up internet connections and so on. So we now decide, because we even had some attacks on our other studio, which was in Washington, D.C., because of the coup. We now had to set up a studio with with security as a top priority in our minds. So for now, our where our studio is, we are not letting out. We are not telling anybody where our studio is. And we have about 10, we have 10 staff. Remember, we are coming from a staff of 2 with Chris Anu and a budget of $10,000. Now we have a budget of about $8,000, including internet, and we have at least 10 staff. And this is, the Undaunted Ladies, as I said, we have to keep their whereabouts because of security reasons. But I will tell you, like our correspondents who are all over the world, we cannot release their names, we cannot release where they are. So we had to do that, considering what the struggle we are running, and also for the security and protection of our staff. So Undaunted now has a staff of about 10. We have a staff of 10. Paddy is the director of news, so he works directly. We have a studio manager, and we have all our equipment. We have our studio registered. Everything is now under Ambazonia. Wherever it is in the world, it is under Ambazonia. All the equipments, everything, everything is under ABC Ambazonia. So it is it is the people's television. It is run, it is managed, it is sponsored by the people, by your contributions. So that is where
Wow.
we are at right now, Lady Casey.
Fantastic. Since you had just mentioned the budget of ABC, I mean the efficiency and the effectiveness of a budget that is way less than we used to have with so much poor. I mean, if you have anybody has been following Ambazonia, from 2018 until 2021, you will definitely know that production is now world class. I mean, see how glorious I'm looking today on ABC. The production is just top notch now. You will see the greatness in, the excellence in everything that is currently being done on ABC for such a small budget. That is just to show your leadership, mindedly, that the effectiveness and efficiency of how you are running and managing things, and with all the staff that are working with you, are doing a super great job for Amazonia, considering that they are volunteering. That is just to say Amazonia is full of skills and talents. And if you're not yet part, I always you take an opportunity to say, if you're not yet part of, ABC Amba TV, either you're contributing at the background quietly, you can contribute anonymously, you can make your name be known, especially those in America. They can always claim their contribution to ABC, against their tax. This is time, because as you see, it's only making progress, and now things are running smoothly and more efficiently, and Ma Endley has really thrown more light on that. And I would just like you to now just move straight to the last fundraising that was done for ABC Amber TV, and what you have to say also to those who haven't contributed yet.
Yes, I remember I started by thanking everybody who has contributed so far. And the lines are still open. The contributions are still going on. And first of all, I want to let you know that we have had a lot of support from the president and the vice president. They have always been there for us, because when we have a problems, we know where to run to. and get solutions. And even the chairman of the treasury board has been there for us too. It has been a joint effort of the IG. The IG has really worked hard to make sure that ABC survives and is sustained. The last fundraising, as I said, it went on well. That day, that Saturday alone, we collected $11,100, and that is cash. But before then, the patrons who are actually running they are the oversight right now for ABC TV. When we had problems of raising funds, we now turned to our patrons, and they now took over the heavy lifting in ABC. We need to mention that. So right now, the ABC has been sustained by the patrons, because the contributions from the public, from Amazonians, kind of got a lot of hard knock, because some of the routes, where the payment routes were hijacked. So all that is being worked on to bring back a lot of, like, our club members who were contributing. Their monies were lost, their monies were misdirected or redirected away from ABC. So that is being worked on. But while all this is going on, the patrons stepped up and just carried us along. And let me tell you, we have survived for the last 4 months only because of the patronage of the patrons. Now they are really they are really lifting us up. So before this, we were meeting with the patrons at least every 2 weeks. We had to meet. Donations were coming to meet the stipends, to meet the internet dues and everything. Even the local governments, just everybody went cold. Everybody went cold on us. So what happened was, before the Saturday fundraising, we had already started raising funds from the patrons. So we have at least another 7 or 8 thousand $8,000 to add to that 11,100, which we are going to reconcile this Sunday, because we have our patrons meeting. And our books are very open, Lady Casey. Anytime any arm of government wants to see how we are spending the money, that is why we love the patrons, because they contribute and they see how we spend the money, because we go to them and say, this is the money. For example, you know we contribute, we got money, we got donations to run the last press conference, and they saw everything. They saw, we want Ambazonians to see where their money is going to, you know so with the patrons as an oversight arm of ABC, everything is working on fantastic. That is why you saw a successful drive on Saturday. And let me tell you, this was the first one, but we promise to do more, and also to get better. As I said, we are all working. It's a work in progress. So that is what happened with Saturday. I think it was a fantastic day for us, even though participation was not as much as we expected. But even the little who came, they did wonders for us. So I think at the end of the day, we are going to see at least $18,000 to $20,000 contributed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma and Lee. And I hope those who have been watching, our true ABC fans and followers, have fully, understand. Like you said, everything is quite transparent. If you're a club member, you certainly know what is going on. I would, just your final remarks on ABC Amba TV and what is going on now. And you've just also mentioned that the books are still open, contribution is still going on. But just for, to round up to all our viewers who have been watching, who have had some in-depth understanding of management and operations and the needs of ABC. Like you say, it's a work in progress. The program's production are getting better. The sound is excellent. It's been a while. We hear people say, I cannot hear you. ABC has been caught on ground zero, a home front rather. Those type of, hitches, we've not had them in a long time. And so we thank you and your team. And can you just round up with us and tell us why are you so passionate about the success of ABC Amber TV? Thank you.
Yes, as Mape said in the beginning, the ABC, this communications arm of the IG or of any government is the voice, of the IG and of the people of Amazonia. We have to get our message. I still run into some people who tell me they never knew that there's a genocide going on in Amazonia. I was in Houston, Texas, a couple of weeks ago, and I met I went for a special occasion, and I met somebody who's a friend of my daughter. They had the occasion, but she's an executive herself, and she came in from Britain. And I was telling, I carry our case, Amazonia. Sometimes I sound like the ancient mariner, for anybody who studied the English literature, because anybody I see, I tell them our history, I tell them our story, I tell them that there's a genocide going on in my country, and we need assistance. I was shocked. She said she had never heard of Amazonia. She did not know about the genocide. Some of them knew. They said they had heard. They catch it on YouTube. You see, so that is why I am so passionate about the ABC TV. This is the way we get our story out, and my aim is that that Amazonia will be a household word in every home. It's not going to be easy. It is not going to happen overnight because of the resistance. Sometimes even among ourselves there's resistance, because the human heart is and soul and spirit is a very complicated thing. Even within ourselves there's envy, there's jealousy. You see somebody struggling to make something work, and you you are out to destroy that person for no reason. What I want is that we should be focused. Our focus is ABC television. Forget about those who are making things work. And if you want to contribute, know that you are contributing for a cause, for ABC, for Amazonia, so that we can get our story out there. You are not contributing for me. You are not contributing for Paddy. You are not contributing for Dr. Mungwa. And definitely, Dr. Sako, the president, is not getting anything from your contributions through ABC. Everything we should be focused on ABC and Amazonia. That is our focus. Every other thing is a distraction. So I will always appeal to the people, and also moving forward, we want to include the local governments into the programming of ABC, where we've been trying to establish the pidgin news and news in our languages. We are trying to set that up, and I think moving forward, let me say, I think right away, we have seen an opening, and we are trying to get access to the local governments. We cannot wait for individuals who don't want to help out, or who are trying to stop us. We have to, if you move, my thing has been, if you are moving on one road and you see a blockage, turn around. look for another road. That is how I operate. It takes too much energy to try and clear every hurdle, every blocked road that you meet. Turn around sometimes and continue. So that is my motto for ABC. We are here for ABC, for Ambazonia. For Ambazonia, ABC is for you. This is your television, and that is my passion. That is the only reason that keeps me working, and a lot of, to block a lot of the noise. We have to be focused.
Thank you.
ABC and Ambazonia people, just block the noise. There's a lot of noise out there, but you have to learn how to block it out and be focused. So that is what I would plead with Amazonians. Contribute. Don't leave us hanging. You have to support your television, because we cannot do it right now. We cannot do it by ourselves. We have not got to the stage where we'll be independent, making money. We need you right now, because we are at the formative stages, and we are part of the struggle. Thank you very much, Lady Casey.
Wow. Thank you so much for joining us on the horizon and giving such an elaborate explanation on different aspects of ABC Amber TV. Now we will be moving to the second part of the show, and like you have also mentioned that we discuss serious political subjects on the horizons, the voice of the Amazonian woman, and we'll be playing a short clip.
Lady Casey,
Thank you. Yes.
can you hear me?
Yeah, Mark. Yeah, I can hear you. Go on.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just wanted to make one final appeal. I know Ma Endele has already concluded that topic, but I know that the recent fundraising that was done on the anniversary of the Undaunted was the theme was 100% Ambazonians for ABC Amba TV, and I think we already mentioned that this struggle for international recognition has three important legs or factors: communication, self-defense, and diplomacy. So if you look to it that way, you have to see the importance of communication. And our most important communication channel is our TV, ABC Amba TV. So that theme, 100% Ambazonians for ABC, means that if you're really an Ambazonian that supports our international recognition, then you really have to contribute financially towards the upkeeping of ABC Amber. Whether you want to do it a one-time donation, or you want to do it monthly, or join the ABC club, or get registered and pay monthly, those are all choices. But any serious Ambazonian must give to. If you have not given to ABC Amber Television, then you are not serious. I just have to be frank. Anyone who is an Ambazonian and has never donated to ABC Amber TV is not serious, because this is one of the most important weapons we have against La Republic. That's just the final comment I wanted to make. And also that the recent fundraising was a huge success, based on the fact that it was just a 1 week advertised program. They didn't advertise it for that long. It was just basically 1 week. And they had at least about 100 people or 99 people I counted at one time on the Zoom. So I think it was a huge success, my Emma. You guys did a fantastic job. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mape.
Thank you, yeah, thank you, Mafe, for that great roundup on this part of ABC. I mean, we're on ABC Amber TV, and we always talk about your participation. 100% ABC for 100% Amazonian. It is something that we need to say it over and over until every Amazonian see themselves as contributors. Like there's so much that can be done. Ma Enderly has mentioned several times that it's a work in progress, and we need so many people who consistently play a role to see that our communication is succinct, precise, and consistent, to the home front and the global world. Thank you. Like I was earlier saying, we would move to the second part of the show today, and we would have a short clip to watch of a Kelma seminar and then we would have a short conversation about it, and we would close the show for today. I am hoping the technician is ready with the clip that we would need to watch today, and then we would give our
Lady Casey,
comments after.
before the clip, maybe we should introduce what it is about. I think
Okay.
people may not. Yeah.
All right. Okay? Do you want to go on and just give Amazonian some maybe highlights of what it is?
Um. So there was a seminar recently on April 24th about the conflict, they call it crisis in Amazonia. So this was held under the auspices of the Harvard Law School Events Program. So it was sponsored by, it's called Herbert C. Kellman's Seminar on International Conflict Analysis and Resolution Series, and was sponsored by the Program of Negotiation at Harvard Law School and the Weatherland Center for International Affairs. The main speaker was Dr. Susan Gais, Gais, who is the principal at Gais Mediation and Facilitation, LLC, and executive director of the nonprofit Pathfinders for Peace, and has had 25 years experience as mediator, facilitator, and trainer. She has helped resolve conflicts and build consensus in international organizational matters and environmental land use issues, and is increasingly working on peace processes on political transitions. So she was the main speaker of this presentation, and because we are running out of time, we will not go into the preliminary talks on what she said. We'll just go ahead and listen to the main portion that has to do with peace processes, and then after that we can talk on it. So we can have that started now. Thank you so much.
State through federalism or other alternatives to independence. Now let me shift to efforts to make peace, which is really the central focus of my talk. So from the beginning of the crisis, there were a number of actors that came through and offered to mediate, such as the Vatican and the community of Sant'Egidio, which is close to the Vatican, the European Institute of Peace, and I think others. The one that initially gained the most traction was known as the Swiss Initiative. The Swiss Foreign Ministry partnered with the HD Center for Humanitarian Dialogue, which is an NGO with a lot of expertise on peace processes. And the HD Center worked with several pro-independence groups. Mainly in 2019, there was a series of meetings held, and they managed to help organize, out of the many different groups, pro-Ambazonia groups, help them form a coalition called the Ambazonia Coalition Team, or ACT. However, there are other groups that did not participate. You might remember I mentioned Sisiko Ayutabe, so he was the original interim president of Ambazonia, but in early 2019, another group split off from that and formed a competing interim government. So that second group was at the core of ACT. But those still loyal to Sisiko Ayutabe were among those who did not participate. So that's just one example. The Swiss claimed to have a mandate from the Cameroon government. Nobody ever saw anything in writing that I have heard, so it may have been just a verbal mandate. And for a long time, this was the peace process that the international community was saying, we support the Swiss process and so forth. But they never really got much traction with the government. There were, to my knowledge, no formal meetings. There were some meetings between, the Swiss foreign minister and the Cameroonian president or foreign minister, but no peace process meetings per se, that as far as I can tell. And this is partly because At one point, the government of Cameroon decided, hey, we need to have a process of our own. And so that brings us to the major national dialogue. So timeline here, the conflict started 2017. The Swiss initiative started, I think, either late 2018 or early 2019. Formation of ACT was around August 2019. And the major national dialogue was announced with, I think it was just about a month's advance notice. So it was planned and executed very, very quickly under the leadership of the Prime Minister. The dialogue took place September 30th to October 4th, so 1 week, 2019, and probably in response to the pressure to resolve this conflict peacefully. And that pressure came both from international actors and domestic civil society actors. So all of those, while not necessarily coordinated, they were kind of singing in harmony, if you will. The dialogue was open to all, but remember back to that situation of leaders being sent from Nigeria back to Cameroon to be put in prison. And so those leaders in the diaspora who support an independent Ambazonia were afraid to set foot in Cameroon, and that was not an irrational fear. So in effect, it excluded the leaders of that movement. Another criticism of the national dialogue is that it was designed unilaterally. This was not designed as an equal partnership with the AMBA movement. And it did produce a lot of recommendations on a variety of different things that were attempting to address both the grievances that led to the conflict as well as the effects of the conflict. So things about disarmament and reintegration of fighters, things like that. And special status was the sort of solution put forward to this conflict. It was at least a milestone, as an excellent report from the International Crisis Group explained. It was still a milestone in that it officially recognized that the former British portion of the country was distinct and should be treated distinctly in legally in a legal or constitutional way. But it clearly failed to resolve the conflict. So back to the international actors. The Swiss process was, I would say, on life support for a long time, but then finally declared dead. I think that was early 2020, late 2021 or early 2022. Canada had helped fund that process. And thanks to the advocacy of groups such as Canadians for Peace and Justice in Cameroon, Canadian groups, as well as the fact that Canada has a bilingual model, right? It's flip-flopped there, where the French speakers in Quebec are the minority, but they have a model for autonomy and bilingualism. So Canada held 3 rounds of what were described as pre-talks or pre-negotiation meetings, very quiet, in the fall of 2022, so just last fall, with delegations from both sides. I want to point out that the Cameroon government would not have sent a delegation without the approval of the head of state, President Paul Biya. So the government was participating. These meetings also included an Ambazonia delegation that was pretty broad. As I said, there's a fragmented movement with lots of different groups. This included quite a lot of them. It's very difficult to quantify beyond that, but it was pretty broad. And they talked not only about process, but some substantive issues as well, such as a ceasefire and humanitarian corridors. So this got really quite far, quite a bit farther than the Swiss process had gotten. And I want to mention here that this is kind of typical of peace processes, that it's common to take 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and then people learn and regroup. And and figure out things to do differently. Another 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So get ready, because we're going to hear about more of that. So in January of this year, this process went public. And you'll see here, I just took a screenshot of an announcement by the Canadian government, which you can find online. On January 20th, Canada announced it had a mandate to facilitate a peace process. It was January 20th, so wow, huge, huge news. January 21, the Ambazonians announced that they had some problems with the nomenclature used in the Canadian announcement. The Canadians called it the Northwest and Southwest regions instead of the apparently agreed upon language of the former British territory of Southern Cameroons. But nevertheless, they said, we need to do this, we're still in. So who does that leave? Government. On January 23rd, the Cameroon government announced that it had not agreed to any of this. They had not authorized any foreign facilitator or mediator, and the announcement cited the major national dialogue as the process for addressing this conflict. So completely pulled the plug. This was a stunning chain of events. So, and I want to mention another irony here is that the Ambazonians have been lectured a lot by Western experts on the conflict that they need to unify, that they are too fragmented. The government doesn't know who to talk to. They have to unify. And yet here it appears to have been divisions within the Cameroon government, not the Ambazonia side, that seems to have led to the collapse here. So there is something of an irony there. We at Pathfinders for Peace took a trip just last month, late March. And of course, we were very curious to try to understand what had happened here. As we typically do, we met with some government officials. This time that included 2 officials from the security sector, separate meetings, one from the army, one from the gendarme, as well as meeting with a couple of foreign missions in the capital. We didn't find out exactly the chain of events that led to pulling the plug, but we did learn that that public rollout may have been problematic from the standpoint of the Cameroon government. I want to acknowledge that, I'm not blaming this on the Canadians or on any one group. It was apparently a negotiated procedure for rolling it out publicly. But nevertheless, there were many in government who actually were not officially informed of this process because it was supposed to be secret. And so the first time they heard about it publicly or officially was from a foreign government. And that felt like kind of upstaging the Cameroonian government. So it was weird to them. At the same time, and in comparison, especially to my last trip to Cameroon before that, which was in June 2021, we sensed a greater openness to the idea of negotiation generally as a way to address the conflict. That is really quite big news to my mind. There's, I think maybe, and it's hard to say for sure because there are so many different opinions and so forth, but from the people we spoke to, I sensed a new openness. Also, and this does not have anything to do with resolving the conflict, but more about conflict management. And I heard this from very diverse sources, that both sides have been taking more caution not to harm civilians. So where it used to be, oh, you're informing the other side, so we're going to shoot first, ask questions later. Now it's, let's take you in for questioning and we might let you go. So the level of violence against civilians seems to be going down, which I think is really unexpected and positive news. So in conclusion, what are the prospects for peace in this now 6-year-old conflict? Many of you probably know Bill Zartman's concept of a mutually hurting stalemate. That concept refers both to the military situation on the ground as well as the perceptual situation. Do parties to a conflict feel that they are stuck? And I think that that condition probably does apply here. People are tired. Those fighting for independence, some of them thought the fight would be over in a few months or a year. The government is, wanted to say, oh, we're winning, this is a matter of time, but it's kind of dragging on. So I think that's one factor in favor of better prospects for peace. Another factor that I personally think is at least as important as the hurting stalemate is what is the attitude of the international community and how unified are they? And I think it is and has been true for a long time that foreign governments, at least, are more or less in agreement that there needs to be some political, peaceful solution here. Foreign governments also seem to agree that that solution needs to maintain the existing borders of the country. But there are a lot of options within that for more autonomy for the former British portion of the country. So there is a pretty wide agreement. I mean, there are permutations. A lot of people wonder about the French, who prefer to deal kind of quietly and bilaterally with the Cameroon government. But this seems to be where most governments, where all governments who care about this conflict pretty much are. One humongous unknown factor is succession of leadership of the country. President Paul Biya recently turned 90, and there are questions about his mental state. There's some signs that he may be suffering from dementia. And, the Constitution of Cameroon lays out a procedure whereby if the president dies or is incapacitated, the presidency is passed to the president of the Senate. But I'm not hearing that being a likely chain of events. It seems likely that there will be some leadership struggle, and it seems to me a possibility that that could become a violent struggle, that this whole conflict might become a sideshow. I don't know how likely that is, but it's one of the possible scenarios. The Canadians are still open to helping. They made a point to tell me, and they wanted me to share that they are not trying to impose anything on anyone. They are offering to help, to provide a forum, to facilitate, but not to impose anything on anyone. The Canadians don't have the depth of experience in peacemaking that countries such as Norway does, for example, but they have brought in a lot of folks to help, some people from the UN and elsewhere, so they are really trying. I think after the things we learned last month, that any peace process needs to somehow honor or acknowledge the national dialogue. Now, that doesn't mean that anyone has to accept that the national dialogue is it, or that special status is the solution, but rather just somehow tie in with or acknowledge it. One idea that I've been kind of rolling around in my mind, and I've talked with a few people about, is the possibility of using the occasion of the 4-year anniversary of the national dialogue to conduct a sort of public assessment of it. Not just how implementation is going, because there already is a process to monitor and track implementation, but rather reassessing the entire process. What were the strengths of it? What were the weaknesses? How could those be corrected? How could it be made more inclusive and more legitimate and more of a real partnership? So conducting that as I said, on the occasion of an anniversary, the 4-year or maybe even the 5-year next year. And that could be either combined with negotiations in some way or just a separate and parallel track. One thing I have written about, and many others have too, is the importance of somehow involving civil society in a peace process. Now, a peace process has to include the men with the guns, because those are the ones who can choose to put those guns and other weapons down. So there's they have to be included. And I also advocate for inclusivity in terms of the different armed groups. Okay, I don't think it has to be just one group that represents an insurgency or rebel movement. I think it can be many. But back to civil society, if the negotiations only take place between the men with the guns, there is a danger, and we've seen this elsewhere in non-inclusive peace processes, that it just becomes a negotiation over who gets what kind of political power, and it's too easy to ignore the conditions of the people on the ground and what are the political issues, the economic issues that actually need to be resolved. Involvement of civil society helps ensure that focus stays on the needs of the population. And so I'm talking about women's groups, youth groups, religious actors. And by the way, there was a group of religious leaders who wrote a letter of support of the Canadian process when it was first announced. Traditional leaders remain important actors. Human rights activists and other civil society groups are very important to have their voices in some way incorporated into a peace process. With that, I will turn it back to Professor Hicks, and I will be delighted to take your questions both in English and in French. We can, I can translate any questions that we have in French.
Thank you, Suzanne. I mean, I can't tell you how.
Okay, I think we can quickly talk about this. Maybe you want to put, yes. There's so much to dissect from this presentation. We have to be very careful, Ambazonians. We really have to be very careful, because we sit here and there are people that are taking matters in their hands that will affect us. We do not understand that people like Dr. Susan Guys is working. Those are international actors. When we say the international community, those are people that are talking on our behalf. If you follow this program, she said two things that really boiled my blood, if I can use that expression. One of them was that the international community says that this problem have to be solved within the borders, the internal borders, meaning that they are seeing it as a problem that has to be solved within the borders of Cameroon. But they forget to understand that Southern Cameroon is not part of La République du Cameroun. So as far as they are saying, because let me read exactly what it says so I don't misquote, because it's very important that we understand. Foreign actors are more or less in agreement, need some political solution within existing borders. But what they are talking about is La République du Cameroun. That's why they are always going back to this Grand National Dialogue that happened, because according to the Grand National Dialogue, that was supposed to be the solution for the problem, to make us a special status sector of La République du Cameroun. And then the other part that I want to comment about, involvement of civil society, women, youth, religious actors, traditional leaders, human rights activists, and all the like. But if we realize as Ambazonians that we are a government, there's an interim government. An interim government has all these civil societies already in the government. So you have women, you have religious leaders, you have civil societies, everything already within the interim government. So now we have President Sako, our leader, representing this interim government. But they are not seeing that. They are not seeing that we have control, the ARF, Ambazonia Restoration Forces, are working under the umbrella of this structure so that they will continue defending our territory. And they don't listen to La République du Cameroun, because La République du Cameroun is not their country. before I even say more, I don't know, Lady Casey, I know you guys want to comment on that, and I think there was a call coming in, but go ahead.
Your blood is not even boiling. Emma, I don't know if you want to go first, please.
Yeah, I am going to be very brief because
Okay.
some of this when I hear some of these discussions and what is going on, it can make you lose control. As I say, it can make you lose control on air, and you start saying things that will be blipped, or it just oh my goodness, it just drives you crazy. First of all, as Mape said, you know, she forgets to recognize the fact that we are dealing with two countries. That's why our case is unique. We are not Canada. We are not Quebec. We are not Biafra. We are not Southern Sudan. We are an independent country that is occupied, that is being annexed. Short and simple. Until they realize that fact, then the peace talk of peace, it has not started. We've not started. They've not started the discussion. And we cannot even talk about the national dialogue. National dialogue was a monologue. It was a discussion between La République and La République and La République. Ambazonians were not part of, as a country, we're not part of the national dialogue, the discussion. And how do you discuss peace when they are still killing people? What are they talking about? And then she brings up security. Of course, security. We cannot go. Where do we land? The Amazonians in diaspora. Where do we land? If we say we are going to any discussion that will take place in Cameroon, we land in Douala Airport with a long list of our names ready to be taken to jail. It has happened. It happens every day. So these things, when they come up, it just annoys me very 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 much. The last time she was there was June 2021, but I don't think she has anything to say, because she has not included Ambazonia as a country. All what she's been saying is surrounding La République de Cameroon, and the issue that the those whom she's talking with are still saying that we are one and indivisible. We are not. We were never one and indivisible, and that is the root cause of the problem. And until the international community, the United Nations, Britain, France, go back to that issue, then it's a non-starter. We've not started talking peace. We've not started talking peace.
Thank you.
And look,
Whew.
the only thing I would say is that unless La République takes away their soldiers from the annexed territory, then Amazonians can start talking with them. Then we can talk. You cannot occupy me. Your SDO from Boya is what are we talking about? We can't even hold meetings. You can't even hold private meetings. You can't even broadcast anything about your struggle on ground because you are occupied. You have a gag on the press. You cannot talk. You cannot discuss. You cannot meet. You cannot voice anything. So what are we talking about? That is why it has to be out of that territory until Cameroon has withdrawn its troops from Ambazonia. They are busy building more army barracks, and you tell me to go back and start discussing with them. What are we talking about? It doesn't make sense. Anyway, Lady Casey, as I said, these kind of discussions, they make me lose control because I just get off. It's very very sensitive because it's amazing how people know the truth, but they don't want to face it. They keep trying to push it under the carpet. It's not going to work. This is not Fumban. This is not 1961. No, it's not. Thank you, my dear.
Thank you, thank you. I mean, both of you have already said some of the things, but I just want to, this program for all our viewers. Let's dissect this message. And one thing I'll say before I continue, it has a very similar tone to what Tibor Naj has been saying, but now I've mentioned that, I want to bring my point. She started with explaining in-depth knowledge and understanding from 2016 to the current date. She expressed the trend of events, and she even spoke
Mhm,
about how the leaders were arrested in Nigeria and were kidnapped
mhm,
from Nigeria and taken to La Republique. And she mentioned all these things and then still concluded with such outrageous conclusion that is of nobody's interest. She also, in her own explanation, mentioned that when it came to the Swiss mediation, the international community have been telling Ambazonians, oh, are divided, but we were united for our liberation when it came to the Swiss mediation. And it was instead shows that the division was with La Republique. Now, and he also quote all these different incidents. But now this is what I want Amazonians to bear in mind. And I always say this lady said and make this statement that my patients read, that the international community is advising and working with La Republique to bring solution within the
You
current
have a question?
borders, and
Okay.
refusing to realize that
Okay.
and refusing to realize that Amazonia is a liberated nation. Now, what I need Amazonians to understand is that this is to tell us that we need to take our destiny into our hands. We will scream for international community, international mediation. We need them when we need them. But we need to come to that point where we will force them into
Mhm.
coming to the point that we have to negotiate on a equal state basis. That is what I just want us to gather. These people are only going to continue making excuses for doing nothing, because what they are actually doing now is actually saying, we understand your problem, we know what is going on, oh, but because, like we said, we've passed those days where we are creating awareness. Because now, if you listen to her, she is somebody that is actually paying some degree of attention. In
Mhm.
fact, she's
mhm,
paying very good attention, very detailed. And usually I applaud her for that. But twisting it at the end, that the solution, people are suggesting solution within the borders of La Republique. That is one that is first of all not going to work, because we have lost so many lives. We have tried solution within La Republique. We tried. We did they did the fake referendum. We fought for multipartism so that we fought for decentralization. None of that was implemented. We have tried solution before, as a very good
Mhm.
people that we are as Amazonians. We have tried
Right.
solution for our marginalization and dehumanization within the La Republique territory. It has not worked. And at this point in time, we are past that level. So the world is still 60 years late to try and tell us to find solution within La Republic, but that we have moved on. We are
Lady
now
Casey, I have a caller with a comment and a question. I know we're running out of
okay.
time. Go ahead,
All right.
caller.
The caller can go on. I think we'll continue with this next week or so.
Definitely. Caller, you're on the line.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Patient, Ma Emma, and Lady Casey. I really appreciate this. And I followed up and listened to the presentation of Dr. Susan Geis. And I would like Lady Casey alluded anywhere. I am Dr. Lovari Winnie, Speaker of the House. The one thing I would give her credit for, she was really right by saying that the international community has been pressuring Amazonians to unify, while they did not see La Republique as ununified or disunified or not really unified. And so they are beginning to come to the reality of that point, that should Mr. Biya be off the stage, there will be a lot of infighting. And she claims that when that happens, our conflict will become a sideshow. So there will be more focus on La Republique. There was something else that she mentioned that really it's insulting to Amazonia, is that using the anniversary of their Grand National Dialogue, which we term in quotes monologue, as a point of assessing and bringing people together to do something about it. And I'm saying, who are these? So that really doesn't look well. And also, you are already alluded to the fact that they are looking at this as an internal problem and solving it from within the boundaries of La Republique. And the other thing is failing to recognize Amazonia or the former British Southern Cameroon as a separate country is very problematic. It's very problematic. It will look like bias. The other things that I will ask is, who declared war and on who? Who is busy arresting Amazonians or Southern Cameroonians and sending them and extraditing them to La Republique, removing them under their law that they are used to being judged and that is supposed to be operational, and taking them to La Republique under a different judiciary system? Those are things that they have to see it as problematic. That was the last match that was just struck, and the petrol had been there, and everything went up. So they have to look at this. And then I noticed something. She had a broad knowledge about the subgroups of Amazonians, but she also lacked the understanding of these subgroups and the principal actors of Amazonia. So she was weak on that. And she is still living in the 2018 groups and interim government, and missing to understand the principal actors at this moment and who should they be dealing with. But there was something problematic and something that came out that was that should raise every Amazonian to look forward. What deals did they cut with the so-called Amazonians in Canada? Because whether we like it or not, at some point, if they choose to resume and choose to go, they'll pick up from where they left. And what do we know about what they came up with and how they arrived, what they arrived? While the principal actor is outside, they need to be re-educated who the principal actors of this conflict are, at the helm of ensuring that the plight and what the people of Amazonia want is being championed, and the flag bearer of championing the cause of what the people on the ground want is in the hands of President Samuel Ikome Sako. They may like it, they may not like it, they may play avoidance, but that is the truth.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Winnie.
Mafe,
Thank
since
you,
we
Dr.
would,
Lobati.
I believe that this conversation in particular about people, you mentioned that people are talking, are paying attention, proposing their own solution. She said she has been to the Cameroons. She gathered her own facts. She has presented it in this seminar, and we don't know how many other people are doing something similar, and that is why, and it shows that the issue here is not knowledge of our struggle, it's not knowledge of our plight. The issue here is perspective of our plight and that knowledge. And Dr. Lobati brought so many things on, and I believe that the basis of all this, I would say lackluster attitude towards peace and the solution within the Cameroons, that's the Southern Cameroons, the former British Southern Cameroons, and La République du Cameroon, is because they are avoiding responsibility. And when we talk about principal actors, They are avoiding to recognize because to them it's the interim government, and if they recognize the interim government in the capacity that it is, they are indirectly recognizing Ambazonia. And from every presentation they are making, they don't even see Ambazonia as a nation, as an entity, as an independent entity from La Republique. So politically, they are very conscious of their wordings and their statement and of everything that they do. And like we know, Tibor Nach is the only say former American civil servant that he is boldly and loudly calling us by our real name, Ambazonia. But also, he did not fail to mention some of the things that this lady, Susan, and Dr. Susan Gates, also put forward as suggestion. And there is this part that I want us to pay attention to, the attitude of the international community, because she also mentioned this in her presentation. She said most governments or most people who are interested in our conflict want to deal at the background with the Cameroon government.
Mhm.
Timon has mentioned this in a different way. And also, she avoided completely to talk about the root causes. It was not included in her presentation at all. Now, and this is one thing Tiwana said, oh, we should forget about the history if that we are going to get any kind of attention. So that is to tell us that there's an international gathering or association of conspiracy or messaging going on within the powers that be, because our root causes would require a greater responsibility. And it is clear that no one, and even those who caused it are participate in causing this, are not willing to take that responsibility or to put things right. Now, my summary, I always conclude, Ambazonians, your destiny is in your hands.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, there's just one thing I wanted to say, before,
Okay.
because I'm not going to say anything else because my pay I
Okay.
think is going to round up. When she
Yes,
said that that the last time she was in Cameroon was in 2021, who did she see? Did she go to Ambazonia?
exactly.
I doubt it. I think she landed in Douala and went straight to Yaoundé, and all the facts that she got was from Yaoundé. I do not think that she actually went to a home front to see what was really happening there. Just like the those who came from America, remember, they went straight to Yaoundé, and they were told that there was not enough security for them to go to the northwest. And how do you go to solve a problem without going to the ground zero, to see what is happening? So that's all I wanted to say. But Mape, it's over to you now.
Yeah, Mape,
Yes.
you can
Thank you
just
so much.
round up as well.
Thank you so much, Lady Casey. Thank you, my Imam, and Dr. Winnie. There is something that we must always remember, and Lady Casey just said it. Our destiny is in our own hands. This lady, Dr. Guys, has intentionally avoided
Yes,
mentioning anything about justice. She has intentionally avoided mentioning anything about the current leadership, President Sarko. If you listen to this, the seminar from beginning to end, remember we just took a portion of it. If you go listen from
Mhm.
beginning to the end of it, he will mention Siseko, he will mention other leaders that are in the diaspora, but really intentionally avoided the name President Sarko. And I think it is intentional because they
yes,
want to give the impression that there are other people that are important in this and not the actor. We have to be very careful. They are working with the Canadians, they're working with the the Cameroonian government to find some sort of peace process. For someone to come after such a seminar and outline and say that they can use the fourth anniversary of the national dialogue to make some headways is shocking when we know that the national dialogue was a fiasco. You could even go back and say maybe the Swiss process should come back. You don't even recommend the Swiss process. You can recommend national dialogue. Hello. So
exactly.
she had gone from the beginning, talked how the Swiss process started and failed. And let me let you know that this is someone who probably originally didn't care for the Swiss process, because she also is a mediator and facilitator. She has her own NGO. So maybe
Agency.
she's a little bit biased and doesn't care for the Swiss process. So for that one, she really, if you follow the discussion from beginning to end, she really sidelined the peace process. She went, and then she said the Canadian process will probably come back. She made us understand that the reason the government of Cameroon came up with an announcement that we are not part of this is because they felt that the Canadian government came up with that announcement without alerting them, but that the Cameroon government is really working with the Canadian to bring this process to come with some sort of dialogue with the fake leaders that went there, forgetting the principle. So this conversation is going to continue next week. The next show, we have another important guest, the next show, who has more of a legal mind, because there were questions and answers that are very important that will probably address some of the things that you said, Lady Casey. The Q&A questions will come at the end. And please come back next week for the program, because we'll have a legal mind to go through this detailing when we address the questions and answers. So I want to thank everybody. Lady Casey, it's your show. You go ahead with your closing remarks.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Ma Emma. Thank you for creating the time and telling us, all the wonderful things ABC is doing and the progress that ABC have made since you took up running of ABC Amba TV. I mean, I cannot personally thank you enough for the bravery, putting up through the coup, reviving ABC from the mud, from the hands of traitors in the highest order, and putting ABC to this day to a position where we are proud to say the voice of Ambazonia is loud and clear, and everything, the progress is obvious to everybody. And I also want to thank Mape for always being there, making sure the horizon is running and up, and the women are staying the course. And thank you all our viewers, both at home front and across the globe, for joining us today. Like Marpatient said, next week we'll continue on this discussion of the perspective some of the interested parties and actors in the international community have of our struggle. And this is something we need to all pay attention, because we are staying the course. And if we're staying the course, we are always going to meet descending voices and opposing voices. But because we know who we are, we know what we want, and as our restoration and total liberation of Ambazonia, we would remain steadfast, remain focused. Thank you all. Have a great evening. God bless, and bye-bye.
Fellow Ambazonians, Papa them and Mami them, Pikin them, especially our ARF for all the 13 counties, as Salobona, as Salobona, una can fairly day up. May I tell you something? If you curse me, I will sit down quiet. But if you curse Ambazonia, I will answer you. If you lie about me, I will sit down quiet. But if you lie about Ambazonia, I will answer you. And if you blow lie to Ambazonia people to make them believe you for your lie, me, una go hear my voice. I want to tell una say, may I throw in this pineapple, say, no be na every injection in the cure sick. Because if you not get epilepsy, I want to you epilepsy injection. You go be a foolish man for take that injection. Because if he kill you, if he give you sick, if he destroy you instead. Not be every injection it be solution. Man is sick, some man just come say, una gichan, I don't bring injection. They just open and say, go chuka. No, they go ask you, say, now what is that? Now every injection, they cure man, any man, every man. You know what way they inside, they get for correspond for what way you need. No, now every injection, they cure. Some people, they take injection because they want die. May we take time for these people the way they don't fail for diaspora. And they come for ground, they make stupid video them, audio them, they blow lie. May I tell you on lie number one. No one country where they record and say international community, they never propose any solution to this problem more than say make La Republic meet up with for table negotiate. That the only solution that way international community if you don't propose it, and La Republic they deny. Make someone not tell you say na international community one propose we referendum, then this man they deny, that one they deny because my name na 4 letters Sako they deny. Make nobody not tell on that lie. No Nobody, no one person under this sun, he never proposed we referendum. Nobody. So this drunk way people, they don't drunk with referendum. I don't know who be tap that member with a drinker. No man never proposed we referendum. Nobody. If some man they don't propose we referendum, may them tell we. Nobody. To the best of my knowledge, and all who na Ambazonia. If some man they we want tell you something, ask he say now who don't propose about we. Number two, where I want to tell now say this thing where they talk say referendum. May I tell you now the truth. Wait this interim government stand for. Now say we will not need the referendum because the reason why they give referendum for any people now when that people them they fight for independence. They want get independent. Then the country figure them referendum to make them vote so that if the people them for yes they win, then now they go carve that part of that country. It will become another country. So referendum they give now for people the way they no get country, but they want get country. Man, we don't already get country. If you get power, another country get power like the Republic. You can't pull we all like Ninga, and we don't decide say we don't take back our independence. We don't first get them. You not get forgive we referendum. When at the referendum go decide whether we be independent because we already be independent. These people the way they propose referendum for themselves because no man never propose them for. May I tell you the real secret way they were inside. They don't surrender. They don't stop the fight. We would the fight because we don't restore we are independent. We don't take back we independent. We will be getting for 1960. We don't give ourselves the name Federal Republic of Ambazonia. We get our own country, the Southern Cameroons. We get our own government and we get our own flag and we get our own anthem. These people the way they ask for the referendum now, they don't deny that truth. They don't deny that fact. They talk say they don't agree now with La Republic say they be southwest and northwest regions of Cameroon. Where it be say they never ever be independent. If they don't be independent, the councillor. If they don't be a separate country, the councillor. They don't get their own flag. They don't get their own country again. They be part of La Republic. But make La Republic a United Nations can't give them referendum so that now that referendum vote now it go determine whether they go be independent or will not go be independent. Whether we go be independent or not go be independent. Now we are story that for Ambazonia, nobody will be don't first be independent. Now which kind one now where they say may we just forget about everything. Make La Republic and United Nations give we referendum. Now that referendum will determine whether we go be Ambazonia or not, whether we go be Southern Cameroon or not, whether we go get independent or not. It not make sense. We for this interim government we don't talk say if anybody if he say we get for count if they want make some kind of vote, we don't need vote way now it go determine whether we go be independent or not. Because that vote way go determine whether some people them where they not be independent but they want be independent. That vote they call and say referendum. No, that kind of vote we need them because we don't already be independent. The kind of vote where the fifth vote now the one way they give man independent. If United Nations want consult we or say for no wait way we talk wait we want time. We feel agree that kind of vote because we don't want vote where go cancel you go can't cancel our independence because we don't already get independent. We don't want vote where before we want vote we get for sign book say we not be independent. We agree with the Republic say we be one country before they go give with that kind of vote. That one injection where the cure man the kill and that's all. They tell we today say international community when we deny say we not be Federal Republic of Ambazonia, when we deny say we not be Southern Cameroon, when we deny say we not be independent country, the United Nations now they go help. Now that time they go come. Now that time they go come for can help we for give we referendum. You agree for that kind of person? Which can help that way? One help we get for deny we identity. We get for deny the truth. We get for deny the which way it be correct. We get for deny we flag. That kind of injection that they call and say now come to missing. Now that kind of injection way come to be one chuk for Canada where we talk say unless we throw away with flag, fit talk with we, fit receive with people there. Unless we deny with flag, we deny with anthem. These same people then where they promote this idea now they don't talk say they be ready same way we deny with flag, no we deny with name, no we deny with self say we be a Southern Cameroon a separate country. We'll be ready for accept say we be part of La Republic where they give we a referendum. Which can help, which can injection that, which can help that way one help me, but I get for deny myself, deny the truth, deny which way correct, deny the history, deny the restoration will be get done before you go help me. I suspect you say that kind of injection that for kill me, no not for help me, not for kill me. That is the fact. So now the truth that we're supposed to get the help where we need them. No be now the help where some man want give we have situation it not be like Sudan. We have situation it not be like Eritrea or Biafra. These people now people they inside another money country. Then this country never ever divide. So they give the referendum for see whether they go carve them out as a different country. So man thief your thief my thing. The thief they can't gather we carry and put her inside La Republic. We don't restore our own country. We are own independent. So man can't tell me say no in a referendum go decide whether we go be independent. I say you will fight for both. You fight na say La Republic give you independent or you fight na for defend the independent way will be get under Ndeli, under Frontier, under Joa, under the Southern Cameroon, from the British, from the United Nations. Now that independent you defend them or you fight fight now say you wait La Republic and some godfather may they come off some place, may they can't give you some election where you go elect before you go know whether you be independent or you don't be independent or not. No, that one na corny. The one say make we disarm. The one say make we stop fight. The one say make we forget about the claim say we'll be independent. The one say make we forget about that until they go come give we vote. That vote will take about 10 years to come. That they will give we that vote in 10 years time. Whether they will give more, whether you and me will even be alive that time or whether vote will happen, whether it happen or not happen, the war don't stop. La Republic, their number one struggle now say make the war stop, make life go back to normal. And they don't talk, say, they push these people down before make they talk say referendum because the day we una accept say La Republic and the United Nations they will agree for give una referendum. That means say fight don't finish and it will remain so for about 10 years. And anybody way it is anything way they decide this chapter go don't close. La Republic want close this chapter by all means. Some people they way sometimes they don't lick their own pepper. They want help them. Me I not go take any solution where it go talk say me I get for deny say me I be Ambazonia. Say we became independent. Say we are a separate country. Say we be annexed by La Republic. Any solution we talk say me I go deny that truth before I go get help. I not go accept that. That means say that help na injection wey go kill me. No na injection wey go make me feel fine. Wonderful. Fellow Ambazonia.
You are watching The Horizon, the voice of the Amber Woman, exclusively on ABC Amba TV.
Our vision in this interim government is to make ABC a leader and a real war horse of our struggle. We want to grow it, expand it, hire and train more hands and broadcast round the clock, around the world, and take command of the media space of this world.
You can enjoy all-round the clock, 24/7 exclusive moments of bliss as an ABC Amba TV Club member. A cappella. Latest Nigerian/African movies, global politics, ABC Amba news and updates, historical documentaries, and lots more. In our daily programs, we have Undaunted, ABC Amba News, bringing into the news untold stories with Onyi Okpala and Star Smart. Exclusive discussion, revolutionary panel conversation, infotainment, edutainment, inter/intro-governmental debates on topical issues with Tar Paddy King, State of the Liberation Movement, fronting IG and people of Ambazonia's position, the Struggles Weekly Update with Secretary Martin Mungwa, PhD, FASC. Health is wealth, health education and awareness within the Ambazonian community with Dr. Yaya. Liberation.
Our vision in this interim government is to make ABC a leader and a real war horse of our struggle. We want to grow it, expand it, hire and train more hands and broadcast round the clock, around the world, and take command of the media space of this world.
You can enjoy all-round the clock, 24/7 exclusive moments of bliss as an ABC Amba TV Club member. A cappella. Latest Nigerian/African movies, global politics, ABC Amba news and updates, historical documentaries, and lots more. In our daily programs, we have Undaunted, ABC Amba News, bringing into the news untold stories with Onyi Okpala and Star Smart. Exclusive discussion, revolutionary panel conversation, infotainment, edutainment, inter/intro-governmental debates on topical issues with Tar Paddy King, State of the Liberation Movement, fronting IG and people of Ambazonia's position, the Struggles Weekly Update with Secretary Martin Mungwa, PhD, FASC. Health is wealth, health education and awareness within the Ambazonian community with Dr. Yaya. Liberation prayer, an intercessory ministry for Ambazonia with Pastor Victor Mba. Our Freedom, Spiritual Awareness and Education for the Ambazonian Community with Pastor Victor Mba and Pastor Commando. Church and Politics, Neutralizing the myths and preconceived religious and political philosophies that limit the Christian involvement in the realms of decent politics with Pastor Commando. The Horizon, the voice of the Ambazonian woman with Dr. Patience Abiedo and Lady Casey. Our Amber History, bringing to limelight the hidden history of Ambazonia to the world with Pastor Commando. Appointment on community building, education on patriotism within the Ambazonian communities with Ma Rachel Itatima. Ethics for an Emerging Nation, watchdog of basic principles and morals of a nation at war with Ma Dorothy Ngwa. Upcoming programs: Pigeon News, Vernacular Talk Show, County Roots, Activists Corner, Amber Focus, only on ABC Amba Television. We the people, the voice of the voiceless. For 24/7 access, subscribe as a club member on www.abcambatv.com/subscribe.
Mutumbo, mama yo, na ya boy go get her. Blue Jay promise. Mama yo kind, mama you're beautiful, mama you good, mama you're wonderful. No woman like you, mama. No woman like you, mama. Thank God for you, mama. Thank God for you, mama. 'Cause you gave me life, oh mama. Queen of my life, oh mama. I go love you for life, oh mama. 'Cause you love me so, oh mama. From small begin, I never forget all the suffer when you suffer for me. Oh yeah, yeah. All the pain and the troubles where I put you through. I remember when money no be there and chop no be there for her. You be the try your best. You go run around to find us something where we go chop. When I dey sick, you know the sleep. You go dey cry all night. You go hold me tight, start to pray, say God make you help my oh Lord. Ooh, I wo ye ye choma. Afunga na bere ye funga choma. Ambama na bere ye ambama choma. Enga na chinu ye ga choma. Mama, I wo ye ye choma. Afunga na bere ye funga choma. Ambama na bere ye ambama choma. Enga na chinu ye ga choma. Ye ga choma, mama. Enga na chinu ye ga choma. Chinu ye ga choma. Oh, you gave me life, oh mama. Queen of my life, oh mama. I will love you for life, oh mama. 'Cause you love me so, oh mama. Ale mama, selelelele. Ale mama, shekelelelele. Ale mama, you're my motivation. You gave me the best education, mama. The song where I sing I'm for you, now it's special dedication to you. Oh yeah, I know say every night and day you pray say make a mama. The God where you the pray I'm for heaven done. Give me this inspiration, mama. The song where I sing I'm for you, now to show my appreciation to you. Be a warrior, ye choma. Afunga na bere ye funga choma. Ambama na bere ye ambama choma. Enga na chinum ye ga choma. Mama warrior ye choma. Afunga na bere ye funga choma. Ambama na bere ye ambama choma. Enga na chinum ye ga choma. Chinum ye ga choma. Chinum ye ga choma. Ye ga choma.
papa them and mommy them, pikin them, especially our ARF for all the 13 counties, as Salobona, as Salobona, una can fairly day up. May I tell you something? If you curse me, I will sit down quiet. But if you curse Ambazonia, I will answer you. If you lie about me, I will sit down quiet. But if you lie about Ambazonia, I will answer you. And if you blow lie to Ambazonia people to make them believe you for your lie, me, una go hear my voice. I want tell una say, may I throw in this pineapple, say, no be na every injection it cure sick. Because if you not get epilepsy, I want chook you epilepsy injection. You go be a foolish man for take that injection. Because if he kill you, if he give you sick, if he destroy you instead. Not be every injection, it be solution. Man is sick, some man just come say, una gichan, I don't bring injection. They just open and say, go chuka. No, they go ask you, say, now what is that? Now every injection, they cure man, any man, every man. You know what way they inside, they get for correspond for what way you need that. No, now every injection, they cure. Some people, they take injection because they want die. May we take time for these people the way they don't fail for diaspora. And they come for ground, they make stupid video them, audio them, they blow lie. May I tell on a lie number one. No one country where they record and say international community, they never propose any solution to this problem more than say make La Republic meet up with for table negotiate. That the only solution that way international community if you don't propose it, and La Republic they deny. Make someone not tell you say na international community one propose we referendum, then this man they deny, that one they deny because my name na 4 letters Sako they deny. Make nobody not tell on that lie. Nobody, no one person under this song he never propose we referendum. Nobody. So this drunk way people they don't drunk with referendum. I don't know who be tap that member with a drinker. No man never propose we referendum. Nobody. If some man they don't propose we referendum, may them tell we. Nobody. To the best of my knowledge and all who na Ambazonia. If some man they way want tell you something, ask he say now who don't propose about we. Number two, where I want to tell now say this thing where they talk say referendum. May I tell you now the truth. Wait this interim government stand for. Now say we will not need the referendum because the reason why they give referendum for any people now when that people them they fight for independence. They want get independent. Then the country figure them referendum, say make them vote so that if the people them for yes they win, then now they go carve that part of that country, it will become another country. So referendum they give now for people the way they no get country, but they want get country. Man we don't already get country. If you get power, another country get power like the Republic, it can pull we all like Ninga, and we don't decide say we don't take back our independence we don't first get them. You not get forgive we referendum. When at the referendum go decide whether we be independent because we already be independent. These people the way they propose referendum for themselves because no man never propose them for. May I tell you the real secret way they inside. They don't surrender. They don't stop the fight. We will the fight because we don't restore we are independent. We don't take back we independent. We will be getting for 1960. We don't give ourselves the name Federal Republic of Ambazonia. We get our own country, the Southern Cameroons. We get our own government and we get our own flag and we get our own anthem. These people the way they ask for the referendum now, they don't deny that truth. They don't deny that fact. They talk say they don't agree now with La Republic say they be southwest and northwest regions of Cameroon. Where it be say they never ever be independent. If they don't be independent, the councillor. If they don't be a separate country, the councillor. They don't get their own flag. They don't get their own country again. They be part of La Republic. But make La Republic a United Nations can't give them referendum so that now that referendum vote now it go determine whether they go be independent or will not go be independent. Whether we go be independent or not go be independent. Now we are story that for Ambazonia, nobody will be don't first be independent. Now which kind one now where they say may we just forget about everything. Make La Republic and United Nations give we referendum. Now that referendum will determine whether we go be Ambazonia or not, whether we go be Southern Cameroon or not, whether we go get independent or not. It don't make sense. We for this interim government we don't talk say if anybody if he say we will get for count if they want make some kind of vote, we don't need vote where now it go determine whether we go be independent or not. Because that vote where it go determine whether some people them where they not be independent but they want be independent. That vote they call and say it's referendum. No, that kind of vote we need that because we don't already be independent. The kind of vote where the fifth vote now the one way you know they give man independent. If United Nations want consult we or say for no what way we did talk what we want that we feel agree that kind of vote because we no one vote where go cancel it go can't cancel now our independent because we don't already get independent. We no one vote where before one vote we get for sign book say we not be independent. We agree with La Republic say we be one country before they go give with that kind of vote. That one an injection where you know the cure man they kill him that's all. They tell we today say international community when we deny say we not be Federal Republic of Ambazonia, when we deny say we not be Southern Cameroon, when we deny say we not be independent country, the United Nations now they go help. Now that time they go come. Now that time they go come for can help we for give we referendum. You agree for that kind of person? Which can help that way? What help we get for deny we identity? We get for deny the truth. We get for deny the which way it be correct. We get for deny we flag. That kind of injection that they call and say na come to missing. Now that kind of injection where come to be one chukwi for Canada where we talk say unless we throw away with flag, fit talk with we, fit receive with people there. Unless we deny with flag, we deny with anthem. These same people, the way that they promote this idea now, they don't talk say they be ready say we deny with flag, we deny with name, we deny with self say will be a Southern Cameroon, a separate country. We'll be ready for accept say will be part of the Republic, may they give we a referendum. Which kind help, which kind injection that, which kind help that way want help me? But I get for deny myself, deny the truth, deny which way correct, deny the history, deny the restoration will be get down before you go help me. I suspect you. Say that kind of injection that for kill me, no not for help me, not for kill me. That is the fact. So now the truth that we're supposed to get the help where we need them. No be now the help where some man want give we have situation, it no be like Sudan. We have situation, it no be like Eritrea or Biafra. These people are people that they inside another money country. Then this country never ever divide. So they give the referendum for see whether they go carve them out as a different country. So man, if you are thief my thing, if the thief they can't gather carry and put her inside the Republic. We don't restore our own country, we are own independent. So man can't tell me say no, in a referendum go decide whether we go be independent. I say you will fight for both. You fight na say la Republic give you independent, or you fight na for defend the independent way will be get under Ndeli, under Frontier, under Joa, under the Southern Cameroon, from the British, from the United Nations. Now that independent you defend them, or you fight na say you wait la Republic and some godfather may they come up for some place, may they can't give you some election where you go elect before you go know whether you be independent or you don't be independent or not. No, that one na corny. The one say make we disarm. The one say make we stop fight. The one say make we forget about the claim say we'll be independent. The one say make we forget about that until they go come give we vote. That vote will take about 10 years to come. That they will give we that vote in 10 years time. Whether they will give more, whether you and me will even be alive that time or whether vote will happen, whether it happen or not happen, the war don't stop. La Republic, their number one struggle na say make the war stop, make life go back to normal. And they don't talk say they push these people down before make they talk say referendum because the day we una accept say La Republic and the United Nations they will agree for give una referendum. That means say fight don't finish and it will remain so for about 10 years. And anybody way it is anything way they decide this chapter go don't close. La Republic want close this chapter by all means. Some people them way sometimes they don't leak their own paper. They want help them. Me I not go take any solution where it go talk say me I get for deny say me I be Ambazonia. Say we be get independent. Say we are a separate country. Say we be annexed by La Republic. Any solution we talk say me I go deny that truth before I go get help. I not go accept that. That means say that help na injection we go kill me. No na injection we go make